When the train goes by, I fantasize it's going to the moon, and so am I. Now this one needs some explanation. We were living in East Africa, and I wrote this poem for my husband's 31st birthday. Struggling to figure that out. And anyway, it was a week after our third child was born. And this poem represents something we actually did. We actually fled down the mountain onto the plain, and all the animals in the poem are something that we actually saw. So down Muranduko way. Fold back the canvas, break your leg, brace your legs, give the jolts without dismay. Don't turn back from the sisal track. We're heading down Muranduko way. Crash through the bushes, over the grass. Don't let the lookout fall asleep. 4 wheels 4 will help no more when you're stuck in a burrow 3 feet deep. Kingfishers flash, hornbills skulk, while impalas' black-tipped ears twitch and pass in the high brown grass in quick response to the lone buck's fears. Back to the road and faster, faster, roll down the mountain onto the plain, where burning air and windless glare make scrub thorns shiver as if in pain. Count the impala by the herd, watch them leaping to cross ahead. Hartebeests too go running through awkward brown among graceful red. Now baboons come hurtling over, black forms flying on burnt out black, fade from sight in the midst of flight as we enter a new and darker track. Hundreds of silent footprints tell of myriad beasts in the thick, dead brush. Now no sound on trampled ground, or even a bird disturbs the hush. Listen ahead as sound returns in rushing water and jungle cry, flung to the breeze from jungle trees, hung with orchids blooming high. Left-hand river and right-hand stream meet in the middle, and round the bend, footprints stop, the bank sharp drop, and the water begins at the long road's end. The Mama. My boat's the Mama, named for me, by me. My first and only boat, barely afloat when I earned ownership by paint, patches, and a name. A young woman with an old boat. But over time, I've evened up the years. So now what people see is 2 old mamas rowing gently to the lake. Okay, this is the Maine section. To a loon at sunrise. It seems, old loon, on this whole lake, there's just the 2 of us awake. Well, I've had an idle line. Has your luck been as bad as mine? If so, you'll have to go unfed, while I'll fall back on toast instead. Which goes to show, as I can see, how different you are from me. But I've seen you dive from sight and heard the wailing of your call. So, fellow fisher, black and white, are we not kinsmen after all? Night loon. Cry, loon, cry. We share the night, and you alone wailing over an empty lake speaks for us all. The lake and the light. The lake's the playground of the light. Sun and moon share it between them, half and half, agreed on long ago. Both sun and moon play the old time games, dazzle the lake and chase the waves. But more than that, they have their very special tricks. Only the moon can silver the fierce, unruly waves to set the lake alive with leaping fire. And only the sun can still each ripple with a magic spell and turn the lake to liquid gold. The lake's not jealous of the sun and moon. They've been friends forever. She likes their tricks and rightly takes some credit for herself. Besides, she knows they make her beautiful. This is an Italian proverb, and it means to leave is to die a little. And the thing is called partire e un po' morire. To leave is to die a little. I am dying a little. Goodbye to lake, looms, and Milky Way. Goodbye to summer. I'm off to another season's pleasures, left with equal sadness half a year ago. 2 deaths in a single year, the wages of a double life. Okay, now we've come to the loss section. This is called What Are We? What are we? Don't call us the bereaved, a phrase for funeral homes and Hallmark cards. What are we then? Sailors stripped of charts and compass, walkers wet and spent and wanting to home, acrobats who've lost their nerve, refugees, explorers, pioneers, recent settlers in a lonely land. The picture, still and silent in your leather frame, you smile at me with your lovely smile. As I smile back, something shifts inside me. A little earthquake along a major fault. I think I still can see you in the flesh, but I'm not sure. Socks. They go inside as neatly paired as Noah's animals. All's well at first, but something goes amiss. Those happy couples start to lose their mates. Why? No one knows. A laundry flood, a troll beneath the bed. Mystery. But every day another partner is gone, till all that's left is lonely widows in the dark. I wonder how they fare. Do they make friends? Cruising. I thought my trip was danger-free. Our boat was sturdy, sound of hull and mast. I gloried in each passage and each port snatched from the past. Pain lurks in the particulars. That's where we walked, we anchored over there, and there, and there. The tides of memory are treacherous. They raise you up, but at the ebb they bear the hidden ledge you didn't know was there, and then you drown. Okay, this is another pair. Do not go gentle 1 and do not go gentle 2. And they're based on a line from Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle 1. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. But is that right? Rage can't prolong the light by one small spark. Better maybe then to embrace the dark, accepting all her gifts of gratitude and grace. To face the sunset splendor or the sun's eclipse, the eyes need aid, which rage rejects, so cannot see the skies. The gentle traveler sits still among his friends, sharing the sunset while the colors fade. Do not go gentle 2. Dark begins at dawn. Noon is only a diversion from the truth. The dying starts at birth. Worth is reckoned by how fierce the fight to wrestle trophies from the teeth of time. Acquiescence is the coward's part. Resist, resist. And when they douse the lights to speed the night, rage, rage against the dying of the light. The cricket grannies. The tiny cricket grannies stretch their raspy legs along their mats. Illusionless, they still believe in exercise. They revel in absurdity and tell each other insect jokes. And of course, they don't forget what once they were. But that was in another life. What they do now is rub their raspy legs together to swell the chorus of the cricket song. Now we've come to lighter poems. Ducks in the Serpentine. No barbarian, I honor what I bought, frequent the Tate, the Abbey, St. Paul's, admire what I should as I've been taught, and quickly fall in line when culture calls. My London trip, what did I like the best among the city's rich historic mix? Why, rowing on the Serpentine and seeing all the fluffy little chicks. Amtrak naturalist. Skyline drawing ever nearer. Towards New York, my Amtrak hurls. If I'm lucky, out the window, I'll see herons, ducks, and turtles. The garden porcupine. A porcupine, appearing to reside in our late garden, threatens to the Maine. My last few beats are nothing but a stain on his white teeth. Will he abide to finish up the charred with triple joy? Oh, let him eat the tidbit he has found. He's more than welcome to my fallow ground. What, after all, is left he could destroy? Epitaph for a garden. Here lie hopes of garden glory, dashed by mean marauding deer, pilgrim with thoughts and think with pity of the dreams that perished here. All right. Bath with a beetle. Small for a bomber, big for a bug, a beetle buzzes me in my bath. Banks around for a fresh assault and crashes. Timidly I leave my bath to reconnoiter and find my enemy belly up, his little legs waving in the air. Good, I think, and go to bed. Come the morning, I am miserable with shame. To leave a fellow creature, even a belligerent beetle, writhing on the floor for one whole night, crushed with remorse, I go to gather the remains. But no remains at all, but a beetle unhurt, right side up and ready to go. This time, wary still, I wrap him in a wash rag and take him to the door and let him go. It's seldom you get a second chance. This is called Noah. Did Noah navigate, sharks spread about him, heaving lead on deck, in dripping oilskins scanning for stars? Or did he stroll the bobbing ark beneath the striped umbrella, scratching the elephant's ears and looking for the rainbow? Right, this next section is called Final Poems. For Adele Arden, our neighbor. Already when we came, the signs were nailed in place. Hillman, Delsing, Arden, Sailor. So from the start, they'd figured in our scene. We never thought that they'd be growing frailer. But after 40 years, we might have known that sure as fate, their ranks were short of strength. The dogs were first, but after that, the pool of neighbor men began to sink. Sam Hillman died the first, then Mr. Arden, can't recall his name. Then David Delsing died, and then some wives, Ingrid, Rainey, and Elaine. It was a shame. But now Adele, I wonder at myself to mourn her passing with such loud alas. Our interaction centered on the drive when someone backed to let the other pass. You ought to earn the right to feel so sad. What pure, impure motives gave my sorrow breath? Perhaps I grudge diminishing my world, or sensed in hers my own impending death. I couldn't say, but when I heard she died, against all reason, I sat down and cried. Eve's granddaughter consoles her for the loss of Eve. Grandma, don't be sad. It's lovely here and now, and nicer far than that old garden. I long for the long, cool dawns, the robins singing in the gentle dark, the smell of lilacs and of flowers still unnamed, the daily miracle of life. But we have robins too, and dawn each day. Not just the dawning, the days as well. No decisions and no regrets. We saw what we should do, and doing was delight. We heard the music, and our steps were sure. Aha, should do, that's what I thought. You hadn't any choice. But choosing didn't enter in. How could it not? Like breathing. You don't choose to breathe. There, you've admitted it. Well, then we always chose. We just chose right. Imagine melodies. I still don't get it, and I never will. Grandma, cheer up. But don't you understand? The snake and I were friends. The turtle rebuffed. That's obvious, he said. So she drew back and eyed him sadly from her painted shell. However dull it was a turtle's thought, a fellow turtle might, for love, have listened well. Corinthians 1:13, envy. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, rejoices not in iniquity. I don't vaunt very much. I'm not especially puffed up. I dabble in iniquity, but I don't rejoice in it. But envy, oh, envy. Envy of all that's admirable in everyone. And not just admirable, but simply nice, like matched towels in the bathroom. What I wouldn't give for charity enough to envy not. Venezia, a noble name, but still not name enough for such a place where likely words fall flat and die from sheer irrelevance to waiting palaces, gondola canals, and boats. At the Campo de la Pescaria, see the fish massed in splendor on their icy beds, heart-arresting horde of fins, shapes, scales, and eyes, tuna, mackerels, silvery sardines, scallops, octopi, and eels, each with its own perfection, a grand canal of color and of form. Wordless market, wordless city, each the offspring of a common seed. Watercolor. The purple spot dropped by mistake upon a tainted sky will never go away, blot as you may. Attempt to alter it to cloud or bird, it will not disappear, no more than will a word you wish you could unsay. A purple spot's a spot, and it will stay. Okay, this is the last one. The snowmen. Look, the snowmen have come out. They stand in frozen expectation on the lawn as if awaiting the photographer. Their clothing contradicts their formal pose. Their rakish hats and cheerful scarves are worn for neither modesty nor warmth, but purely for the fun. How fine the snowmen are. How brave, assured of certain melting, to stand and watch the world with eager, cold black eyes. Okay. Oh, still attached. Well, there's the QA. It's supposed to be Q&A. Would you read it, I guess?
Oh,
Yeah, do you still want the microphone?
sure.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do. You done it? No.
Just hold that.
Okay. I couldn't say that. Any questions? Bill?
Mr. Bell, it's an absolutely fabulous collection that you gave us. I'm going to write you out, however. I'm her brother. I'm allowed to write her out. She's given us all that absolutely fantastic collection, but there's more. I know there's more. There's a whole section on Hamlet that none of you know anything about. So every chance you get to look at the Hamlet thing, do so. I have a real question though. Lucy Bell, you do this all the time. You've been doing it as long as I've known you, which was forever. Is there any rhyme or reason to it? You wake up some mornings and sit down and say, this is going to be a poem day, or are you walking along stuffing at the leaves and the juxtaposition of the leaves and the rocks reminds you of something and another poem comes out?
Well, it is that you don't get up to write a poem, or you don't say, oh, but something triggers it, maybe a phrase, maybe just something that gets you thinking, and then maybe it gets expanded. But it doesn't happen that often. But I have to say that writing poems to order, I can do that like nobody's business. Birthday poems, Valentine's poems, you name it. And I have 8 grandchildren. And for the last 10 years, I think I've been writing a Valentine's poem for each one of them.
That's a lot of poetry.
It's a lot of poetry. It's not in the book.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So any other questions? That's not.
Oh, there's one in the back there.
2 questions, if I may. Which of the seasons of your life have been the easiest and most fertile for you to write your poetry? And secondly, what's been the impact of your children, either individually or collectively, on how you view your creativity?
Well, the answer to the first question, I can't say this or that. As far as I'm concerned, things happen from time to time and has over a period of time. Which of the children, I think they're more influenced by the birthday poems and the Valentine poems.
But you said that you wrote one of your poems, what was it, 3 days after you gave birth?
No, I was writing that poem, Peter. It's a whole series of about 5 Embu poems. That was only one of them.
Okay.
And I think I was writing it even while I was in the hospital before.
Wow.
Yes.
Hi, Lucy Bell, it's Drew.
Hi, Drew.
Drew.
Hi, I was wondering what the relationship between the title of your book of poetry is to the collection.
Oh, well, it's from the first poem. And it's when the person says,
Okay.
"Don't drop me, God." That's the exact title. One of my children said, "You know, is that a good title? Because people are going to think it's a religious book." I put them off. There's a question.
Steve.
Lucy Bell, your comment about what triggers a poem, and a fragment or just something, you don't know what it will be, but it's interesting. You take that fragment, you roll it around in your mouth and your mind, and you know, stuff sticks to it, and you shine it up and you get a pearl. I kind of like thinking of the way you did that.
Another question. Was your love and connection with nature already part of you in your life Or was it, did it give you more love when you were in Kenya? Did you love to
Oh,
the animals and the bugs and everything else more?
I think it was just, I think we already had the love. It was a whole new batch of stuff to love. But I think the love of nature was right there from the first. Thanks largely, I think, to our parents.
Yes.
Do you like to reread your own poetry, and are there other poets that you really enjoy?
I enjoy mine more than anybody.
She said, I enjoy mine better than anybody else's. But the second part of the question was, are there other poets that you read that you like that you,
Yes,
besides Shakespeare?
yes.
I do have another question.
Okay,
Ah.
good.
So what, is it different to share your poetry with an audience and with people than it is to just put it down on
Oh,
paper?
I think reading it to anybody, let alone lots of people, I think that is different. Actually, for me, even other things, reading aloud makes it much more real to me than just reading it. And even if somebody else is reading, listening, I think makes it read better for me than reading.
Is reading your own poetry aloud something you do during the process of writing?
Not much, not much. I'm trying to think, it's certainly not a lot.
A question over there?
Hi, Lucy Bell. But when you were writing the poem, when you were 19, about the little boy in the ocean who was, you were not pregnant and you
I
were.
wasn't anything.
So you were. So I'm just curious, from an artistic standpoint, was it a vision, or was it just, I'm just curious how that poem came about and why particularly a boy and you were 19, and that just really stuck with me.
I think I can't enlighten you. I mean, I really don't remember.
Okay.
But the little boy, I thought of my nephew.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe I was actually thinking of that someone is depending on you, and are you worthy of that trust? You're not too sure of yourself that you deserve the trust. Well, I think people are perhaps ready for a reception.
Sure, this gets back to you.